Our farm is turning 7 this year, and some of the permaculture systems we have in place are now reaching maturity. I'd like to take you along for a quick tour and show you some of the abundance which we have been blessed. Hello everybody, this is Pedro here at San Isidro Homestead and Permaculture, and today I'd like to share with you this beautiful abundance that we're getting on year 7 of the system. In biblical terms, 7 is a number that's associated with perfection and completion. 7 is a very important number in permaculture because it is at this moment, at 7 years, that systems become mature and they become more resilient. And so I'm standing on this section. This is part of our food forest here right behind me. That is a section that we started 7 years ago, and I couldn't be any happier to see how things are unfolding, particularly this year. Just to give you an idea, I'm standing facing east now. It's evening, so you see the sun behind me, right? So going east to west is about 100 feet, and then north to south is about 60 feet this way. I'm facing south on this section of the food forest, and as we walk in, we have some fruit trees. It's early June, so some of the fruit trees are starting to produce. Here's a peach tree that has some fruit, so maybe later this summer we'll be enjoying some of that. It's hard to see the fruits, but there's quite a bit of them. Just to give you a little bit of perspective, the things that we do here, right along this path here, we ran chicken tractors, meat chickens that were here just a few weeks ago, and so the soil is recovering. So by having the chickens here, we're adding a little bit of fertilizer to this area. There's a very slight slope going west to east, so all the runoff is going this way and it's feeding essentially, well, all this area to our left here. So here we have an apple tree, Liberty. True, this tree is only about 4 years old that I planted. So still not reached maturity, and yet we have some nice fruit coming. We're not expecting a lot from this tree. Down here, this is silver maple tree that was here when we moved in, and we've been coppicing it for firewood every year, so actually works beautifully. It's next to another apple tree. In this case it's an Arkansas black, same as the previous one. It's about 5 years. Some little apples growing here. Here we have an alder that is a service tree. He's providing nitrogen here on the ground. Here's another apple tree that I planted, and then so it's kind of our top row, if you will, here of fruit trees. Now as we move down, here we have some mulberry trees that I planted. These trees are 7 years old, so I planted 3 of them. I'm so excited because they are loaded with fruit. Early June, so there's a lot of fruits here, so the birds are enjoying, our family is enjoying them. It's really nice. Sweet, delicious abundance. So we have this mulberry tree. There's another one immediately behind it. Next to it is this huge, big, mature black locust that I planted here. Again, as a service tree, is fixing nitrogen in this area. It's grown to the point that I'm going to have to cut it down because it's providing too much shade to the apple trees are directly behind me. Over here we have another mulberry tree. This one is loaded with fruit. See if I can. It's loaded. It's literally. There's so much fruit in here. Look at this. I mean, this is abundance. We are going to be making lots of jellies and jams, and look at that. So I can't help it. I have to munch on these things. And this is so incredibly good. The pounds and pounds and pounds, and Wow, what a huge load of fruit. I'm gonna get into these trees here where we have the black locust. Look at this. This is one of the branches and they haven't ripened up yet, but look at all the fruit that this mulberry has. Underneath this mulberry tree we have some service plants. We have some comfrey here that's bringing beneficial insects. Lots of baby locust trees that we're gonna have to do something about them. Over here on this edge I have quite a bit of comfrey, and this comfrey well, is attracting beneficial insects. Will help with pollination. Hopefully they'll help pollinate the trees, and they're mining all those nutrients that the plants need on top. As I move north in this section here, we have some other service trees. This is a non-native tree, but I absolutely love this tree. This mimosa tree is in the acacia family, and I like this tree for a number of reasons. One is a legume, so it's also fixing nitrogen, and so it's gonna help. The mulberry trees are over here, the apple trees are over here, and even the peach tree that is further west. But it's a beautiful tree that has these really beautiful flowers. They come in pretty soon. In July they'll come, and such a nice tree for children to climb to. Here we have two interesting species. We have Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes, growing here, and we have Turkish rocket that is past its blooming type, and it's now going into seed. Over here we have some strawberries. We have a little pond that gets filled with runoff from the food forest where we were before. So it's a very gentle slope here. Here we have some, if we look in the back here, we have asparagus. I'll get a nice crop of asparagus earlier in the spring. Now they're going to form that canopy. Over here we have some elderberries that are blooming. Well, they're past their blooming. They're still blooming, but then now they're starting to fruit, and this is gonna be a killer crop. Like, it's covered with fruits are starting to come. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot of elderberries here. On this side we have some shrubs. We have some currants. Black currants are looking very good. There's a lot of fruit coming here too. This is gonna be a really busy summer with all these fruit that we're gonna need to preserve. There's some red currants are starting to ripen here. Maybe you can see the little red things. It's nice, very nice. And continuing down, there's some gooseberries. Some of these red currants are starting to ripen. So yeah, we have some of these nice berries too. On the understory of these trees, we have some other species. We have some lemon balm, love it. Some clover. This plastic area, we used it last year strategically because with these big trees to my right, we get a nice shade in the afternoon. And so what we can do here is use these areas here as garden beds to grow things like lettuces or so in the heat of summer. So they do get some sun during the morning and early afternoon, but once the sun goes past us up here, and they will cast a shade here, the trees will cast a shade, so it'll be a cooler area here, and it's ideal for growing greens in the summer months. And so we're going to be doing that here in this area. and also there. In the market garden system, I've noticed that having lettuces in the summertime when people's lettuces at home have gone are bolting or so, summertime is a great time to sell lettuces if you can grow them. And so we're excited to do that. As we walk down here, we get some other nice understory plants that have been attacked by bugs. This is St. John's wort. Oh, we have some more currants that are coming, are loaded. And as we move down here, we're gonna see our strawberry patch. Over here, these are swale-like beds that I built 7 years ago, and they're so incredibly productive because we have this walking path here on contour where the water will come and then will spread through this area and slowly sink and then move down to the next bed and to the next bed and so on. So we don't need irrigation here, hardly ever use it. So strawberries have been very productive all these years, and there's still some. We have been harvesting lots of them. They're past their season now, but there's still some. And they're so incredibly sweet. We have more elderberries back here. More elderberries over here. As we move down, we're gonna have some Swiss chard, and those from that point on is mostly annual crops. I'm gonna go down to the west section and try to explain what goes on. So from this angle here, starting at the bottom, we have some rows of lettuces and annual crops. Then we have some herbs, cilantro, and stuff that we harvested already. A couple beds are resting. That's the tarps that you see, the resting. Behind that, we have Swiss chard. There's 2 rows of chard. Behind the chard, we get into a more perennial system. That's where we have strawberries and we have perennial shrubs. And then what you see in the back there is the food forest area where we have all those, well, fairly big trees now, which is exciting. And so it's a nice transition here from the west towards the camera here in the east. Very gentle slope where we have all that stable system in the back that is helping nurture and provide for the system that down here. This is a really beautiful relationship here. So this video is in essence a celebration of 7 years of abundance. We're very happy with how things work, especially in that permaculture setting where things become established and become resilient, and to see all the abundance of food that is coming out of that is incredibly rewarding. I feel like we're rich and we're blessed. That's what God wants for the land and for ourselves. So what do we do now? We share that bounty with others. Either what we sell through a farmer's market or what we give to our friends, either in terms of the produce itself or the kinds of things that we can make out of them. I can sense that we're going to be making a lot of mulberry preserves and jams or so. And those are wonderful Christmas presents. People usually appreciate when you give them that, right? Something that was grown by us and then was processed and put into preserved by us. That's very rewarding, and I think that is very meaningful, and that's all we need while we're in this world to make the difference. I hope you enjoyed this quick tour of our permaculture system here, and I also hope that you come back. Please feel free to make comments, ask questions below, and I'll be more than happy to respond to you. I'll see you next time. Blessings to all.